All right, today we'll be doing lab 9-2. We're actually in the VMware for University of Arkansas, we're in Excel because we're going to be using the SQL Server database. And to go ahead and get that started, we're going to go ahead and import the data from database from SQL Server. It's the same that we've always used. So when that pulls up, there we go. So I'll go ahead and type all this in for y'all to take out typing. All right, and here's our information. So obviously the SQL Server that we've always done, the database that we've been doing, the WCOB Dillards. What kind of this means down here is from the store table, we're going to select our state and our transaction amount, and we're going to sum that, and we're going to recall it amount. And then we're going to interjoin our store table with our transact table using our store columns in order to join them together. And then what we're going to pull is where the transaction type equals a purchase, and the transaction occurred in 2015, and then we're going to exclude all the transactions that occurred online. That's what that means by here, and then we're going to group them by state here. Okay. All right, now we're going to press OK. We're going to click Connect. There we are. Now we're going to go ahead and load in. All right, and just to double check, so we can see down here 30. Yep, so we're supposed to have 30 rows. No, that should be all our information. Right here we can see line 30. So yep, we have all our information in here. Then we're going to go ahead and create another column called state sales tax. All right. And then now what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and actually save this. We're going to go and save it into the documents. That way we won't lose it on the VMware because it likes to. All right, and what we're going to call it is chapter 9. Oh. Comprehensive Lab 1. All right, we're going to go ahead and save it. And there we go. All right, so to do this next step, what we're going to do is I have the state sales tax saved into the documents folder, so we're going to go and open that up. And then we can see here the table that it has created. And it has all the sales tax rates per state. Oh, and then we're just going to copy that. And we're going to come back over here, and we're just going to copy this in. There we go. And so what you can kind of tell off the bat is this is formatted as a table, this is not. So we're just going to go ahead and format this as a table real quick. Insert table. And you can see it's selected all the data for us, and we're just going to hit OK. And there we go. So now we have created this as a table. All right, now all we're going to do now is just create a VLOOKUP here. So that way we can pull in the tax rate for the state that is listed on there. So yeah, our lookup value is going to be the state here. Oh, sorry, the state here. Our table array is going to be right here. The column index that we want is going to be 2. So that's going to be this tax rate column right here. And then we're going to want a false, which means that it's going to be an exact match. And there we go. And so see, since it's a table, it went ahead and put it all in there, and it filled the whole column for us. So we can see for Virginia, if we go, it says 0.053 there, and for Virginia to here, 0.053. So we know it's working. All right. All right, now we want to create a column that's going to be the state sales tax owed. And we're going to go ahead and insert another column there. That way we just have some more space to work with, and we're not butting tables up against each other. So then we're going to call it state sales tax owed. There we go, and it automatically adds it in. And then what we're going to do here is we're actually going to round it. That way we're dealing with whole numbers here. instead of having to do a bunch of decimals. And then it's going to be our amount times our sales tax rate right there. And we're going to round it out to 0 digits, so whole numbers. All right, so the 0 stands for decimal places, so we're going to round it out to 0 decimal places or whole numbers. And then we're just going to click enter. And there we go. So now you can see that it has ported all of this information in for us. And as you can see here, since MT, so we can go over to here and see that since this sales tax rate is 0, then the state sales tax owed is 0. There we go. So that should be that. All right. And now for the next step, we're going to actually go ahead and take into account the returns. So if we remember from before, whenever we pulled in this data from the database, we only pulled in the purchases. So this state sales tax owed does not take into account the returns that were made. And so in order to do that, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and save this, make sure it's saved. And just to double check, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and start in a new blank worksheet. Just like before, we're going to pull in our data from the database. And I will go ahead and take you out of the weight of all the typing. All right, and we're back. So we can see here, it's essentially almost the exact same that we did before, except in a SQL statement, we are leaving out the part where we're choosing just the purchases. So now what we're saying is we're pulling everything where the year for the transaction date is 2015, and we're excluding the online sales here. But everything else will be the same for that. Then we'll go ahead and click OK. And I'll go ahead, oh, there we go. And we can see all of our information there, so we'll go ahead and click that in, and I'll go and take it out of the weight. All right, and now just to make sure that we did everything correctly, we're going to compare this with our other one. So we went ahead and ordered it alphabetically. So we see here for Alabama, it's 203462999. We go over here for Alabama, 2369192. So we can see here that our number is slightly smaller in this one. That is because we are now actually taking into account the returns that happened for the year 2015. Now what we're going to do next is what we did before, state sales tax rate and state sales tax owed. Yeah. And then we're going to go ahead and go back over to our here, and we're going to Control-C again and copy it into here, just like we did before. And we're going to insert it as a table. There we go. And now we're just doing a VLOOKUP, just like we did before. And we want a false. All right. So there we go. So we can see here that everything is lined up correctly, and that it's pulling correctly. And then we're going to do the same thing we did before. It's round this times this. And we're going to round it to 0 decimals to make it a whole number. Then we're going to hit enter, and here we are. All right, so now to make sure that everything is working properly, we're going to compare it. So 813852 for Alabama for our sales tax owed. And we can see here for Alabama, the sales tax owed is 947,677. So everything is working properly, and we have now properly taken into account the returns for 2015. So this is going to be our most accurate representation of the sales tax that we owe to the state for the year of 2015. With that, that'll be the end of Lab 9-2. Thank you very much.